My mom let 14-year-old me fly alone to a foreign country to meet my Runescape girlfriend. I, 26M, was deep into Runescape back when it was all the rage in 2007. At 9 years old, I was already obsessed with this MMORPG, which for those unfamiliar was basically an online world where you could train skills, fight monsters, and trade with other players. It was also my first experience with the internet and social interaction online, which quickly sucked me in. I grew up in a small town in the US where there wasn't much to do. My mom was often occupied with her own issues, so the more I was glued to the computer screen, the less I was a bother to her. That suited both of us just fine. Every day after school, I'd rush home, eager to log in and immerse myself in the game. Summers were even better because I could play non-stop for days. I know now how unhealthy that was, but at the time, it was my entire world. In the game, I would frequently interact with other players, which led to making friends, and eventually, a girlfriend. I use the term loosely because looking back, it was more of an online infatuation between two kids who barely knew what they were doing. She was from Canada, and we started talking more and more, first in the game and then on Facebook and MySpace. Over time, we even began exchanging letters, which felt like a huge deal to us back then. By the time 2012 rolled around, I was 14 and she was 15. We had never seen each other in person, nor had we ever spoken on the phone. Everything was text-based, but that didn't stop us from considering each other boyfriend and girlfriend. I was totally smitten. The idea of flying up to meet her came up during one of our late-night chats. It sounded like a crazy adventure, but I was all in. We decided that I would fly up to Canada during winter break that year to finally meet her in person. Here's where things get even wilder. I didn't tell my mom any of this. She didn't even know I had a girlfriend, but I was determined to make this trip happen. I already had a passport, but no money, so I spent the summer doing odd jobs, mowing lawns, washing cars, and anything else that would help me save enough for a plane ticket. Winter break finally came, and after weeks of working up the courage, I approached my mom one evening while she was, as usual, drunk. I told her my grand plan to fly 2,500 miles alone to meet this girl I'd been talking to for years. Surprisingly, she didn't outright say no. She hesitated, and after I pleaded with her for what felt like forever, she finally said, "If her parents call me and say it's okay, you can go." I couldn't believe my ears. My Runescape girlfriend's parents actually called my mom and said it was fine for me to visit. So just like that, I was set to fly from California to British Columbia, Canada. When the day came, I was a bundle of nerves. My mom signed some documents allowing me to travel alone, and before I knew it, I was on a plane, headed to a foreign country to meet someone I'd never seen in real life. Arriving at Vancouver Airport, I quickly realized the challenges of not having international data on my phone. Somehow I managed to find our predetermined meeting spot. I stood there, heart racing, when suddenly a towering 6'3" man walked up to me and said, "Are you Cameron?" My heart nearly stopped. I nervously stammered, "Yes," and he smiled, saying, "Nice to meet you. I'm her dad. She's over here." Then I saw her, my Runescape girlfriend, walking through the airport doors with her hair blowing in the wind like something out of a movie. It was surreal. From there, we spent every summer of our high school years together. Proms, graduations, all the usual stuff. We eventually broke up after dating for about 5 years, but looking back, those experiences were some of the best of my life. Her family welcomed me with open arms, and though we didn't last forever, I'll always remember that time fondly. It's a wild story, but every bit of it is true, and it all started with a simple game called Runescape.